We're live.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to episode 6 of In the Huddle with Scom and Slump. Today, we've got a lot of great stuff to talk about. It's Wednesday. 2 days ago on Monday, the E3 presentation of Madden 15 happened, so we're definitely going to get to that. We've also got a lot of great stuff to talk about, including what a great MUT weekend we just had. There were all kinds of new stuff that came out in packs. There's also a lot of old stuff that came back in packs, so we'll definitely talk about that. And then Scom and I finally have a little bit of leeway where we can actually talk to you about some of our experiences playing Madden 15. So Scom, let's hop right into it. It was a great MUT weekend. What were your thoughts on what happened over the weekend?
I had a blast. I mean, I don't know about you, but I ripped a lot of packs.
I ripped 0 packs, but I still had a blast.
Right, and you got to have a blast for multiple different reasons. It affected both of us in ways that we both played the game, and that's why I think it was a very successful weekend. They brought back a lot of old content. We saw ghost cards. We saw Thanksgiving Day cards. We saw Pro Bowl cards. We saw the Super Bowl cards. We saw all the cards come back, and we even saw the egg. But with all those packs being ripped and all those cards coming out and all this content coming out, what happened and I think it benefited you a little bit, didn't it, Slump?
Yeah, it definitely, I think, impacted me in the way that I play the game a little bit differently than it would for you. You're pulling packs hoping to pull those cards, whether you use coins or whether you spent money on bundles, doesn't matter. You had a great chance at pulling something fantastic. But because all those cards hit the block at the same time, guess what happened? Prices plummeted. The auction house was in the gutter as far as prices go. So I saw Ultimate Legend Emmett sitting on the block for 20K. A lot of great cards just really, really dramatically fell in price. So a lot of my viewers were telling me that they got some great pickups off the auction block. So whether you play packs over players or players over packs all day, every day, I think that you definitely had the opportunity this weekend to get the card that you had your eye on all year.
Absolutely. I saw a lot of update changes. I saw a lot of great polls. I saw people tweeting at me that, look what I sniped, and I'm like, it's not even really a snipe. That's what everyone is just posting it for right now. That's just what was going on. I mean, it was a great weekend to be able to get some new cards for your team. Might have not been in a new card, but it was a card that maybe you just wouldn't have had before the opportunity to get. So it was a great overall weekend. We even saw more eggs pulled. I think EA has once again done a great job at just keeping us involved, giving us content. Yes, it's a business, guys. They're out to make money, but this was I tweeted, this was a win-win situation. Yes, EA made money, but you got a good value for your dollar, for your coin, for your time on Madden. You got a good value for it this weekend. I think they did a great job.
Yeah, and it also fits really well into what we talked about in last week's episode, is that the progression of Madden. I mean, it starts off with cards coming out. They're not so high value, they're not those 99s that everybody wants. Throughout the year, there's obviously a ton of 99s. At the end of the year, if you missed out on some of those 99s because they were too expensive, or for whatever reason you were never able to get your hand on it, now is the perfect opportunity to, maybe if you put down Madden, get back into it, because now you have that opportunity to get those cards that maybe you had your eye on all year, but you never quite had the coins for, or you never had the money before to pull the pack to get it. So now's the perfect opportunity, if you put down Madden, to pick it up and get reinvigorated, and get yourself excited about Madden 15, because it's coming out soon. It's not too far away.
I'm so pumped up. I mean, we already knew a lot of stuff coming, but I was just ready to be able to share the emotional excitement of the game with the rest of the community, rather than just keeping everything a secret sometimes. Sometimes secrets are just, a pain. You just want to be able to share the enjoyment and tell someone. You're like, damn, I can't say anything.
Yeah, it's very, having the chance to go down and play the game early, obviously super, super exciting for both of us, because we're just, we're MUT heads. I mean, that's what we are. We want to play MUT. We want that experience, and to go down and get the chance to experience the game and see what sort of changes they've made, changes that people have been clamoring for, not just this year, but in years past. Very, very cool. But before we hop in and we start talking about E3 and Madden 15, I do want to talk a little bit first about what are your expectations for the rest of the year? I mean, there's all these great cards and packs. Prices in the auction house are down. People might be picking up Madden again, so there might be more competition out there. But do you think that they're still going to be releasing new content, or is that it? Is that like what we just saw? Is that like, here's everything, you guys have at it, have fun until Madden 15 comes out? What are they doing?
The final fireworks show, the end of the show, the final boom. I don't think that was the final boom. I mean, we had the Ultimate Legend. Dion came out. I mean, I used the prime time, and he's just nasty out there in the field. You had some really good cards come out. You had the bust. We talked about how the new collection was going to come out and the price of that, and you had the Sherman cover vote drop. We've had some good cards come out, but I don't think it's going to be the final end. We still should see some more Ultimate Legends, and I don't, once again, think it's going to be new content, like how we just talked about again. We don't need new cards to keep it an exciting weekend, and I think that they're still working hard. There's a few people, small few key people, that are still working really hard to make sure that we're all enjoying the game mode that we're playing right now, because they still know we have 2 months. And 2 months is a long time. I mean, that's a lot of hours of sitting around not having anything to do. And they're making sure that you have something to do, not only 3-4 months from now, but this weekend. And there's still people out there looking for us to make sure we got something to do this weekend.
Yeah. And it's also a great opportunity to, I just wanted to say this before we move on and start talking about Madden 15. It's a great opportunity for those people that think that they would be able to compete with the 99 overall teams if they had a 99 team themselves. Like I hear that a lot, is that people are like, oh, like I'd do so much better if I had a 99 team too, because I'm always playing these 99s. And now's your chance to get a 99 squad. I mean, you could go on the auction block, and it wouldn't be very expensive today on the auction block with coins to take your team from that 95 to that 99. There's those key cards that you've been wanting, that you've had your eye on this whole time. Right now is the time to get them, because prices are low in the auction block. I'm telling you, there hasn't been a better time all year to pick up a ton of cards for a great price.
Yeah, you can find almost a very, very strong, overpowering player for under 100,000 coins for each position on the field. And that is definitely going to be something that, if you never got to play with an awesome quarterback, or you didn't have, you maybe had one good DB, but you never really had 4 good DBs, you can take 100,000 coins and go get 4 good DBs. I mean, you can get some crazy good players now for cheap, and that's definitely a good way to build your team. So great point.
Yeah, and understand that some of the cards that have come out now, they might be more expensive than cards that have been out for longer but are actually better cards. Like the cover vote Richard Sherman card that's out now. That one's kind of cheap, because a lot of people were like, get it. But it's not the best corner in the game. It plays very, very well. It has very, very tight man coverage, but there are other cards out there that you can get that will do just as good a job, if not a better job, for a cheaper price tag. So just because it's the newest card out doesn't necessarily mean it's the best card out. So keep that in mind when you're choosing your cards and trying to build your team into the best squad possible.
Absolutely. That Sherman does a really good job at making sure all my players are high graded. He's sitting around that 4th or 5th spot in the DBs, so he does a great job at, making sure the Gatorade's topped off, stuff like that.
Yeah, I don't even know who my number 4 and 5 see. They never see the field. They don't even come out. they get paid, but they don't play. They're just collecting a paycheck and playing Madden on the sidelines.
They're loving the life.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so now's our chance. Let's move on. Let's talk about Madden 15. This is the first chance we've had to actually kind of discuss some of the things that we've been wanting to talk about. Primarily, well, you know what? Actually, first let's talk about the presentation. All right, we most of us, I think, watched the E3 presentation. If you haven't seen it, definitely go check out the presentation. Watch some of the announcements that they made about changes. The whole presentation was all about defense. It seems like the primary focus of Madden 15 this year is going to be defense. So what are your thoughts on that, Scom? How do you feel about it?
Well, I think it was a great turn, great switch of what they've been trying to do. I know from a lot of players that they've always been complaining about defense, that there is no defense, that the scores are too high, that they are just, they call the right play, nothing ever happens. And EA did a great job of making sure that they listened to the feedback and improved the defense. Maybe went with the wrong focus in the event, talking about the cone and the angle. Like, if they would have just maybe showed different angles and then showed the cone, like, just in a gameplay for a second, but then just talked about how they improve defense, how what we know, how the AI is improved, how defensive players react and positions react the way that they're supposed to react, how they're going to be more aware on the field and things like that are going to be more responsive. That would have been a little better to like maybe see, Richard Sherman play the back shoulder fade a little bit better, like see how he turns the shoulder and knocks it down. Maybe with the tackling cone in there would have been a little better presentation, because, I can definitely say it caused a lot of shock and awe within the community. A lot of positive and a lot of negative, but people were just, they get so hung up on that one thing. But overall, I was still very, very excited that the emphasis was on defense.
Yeah, I think that I don't know that it was necessarily a mistake to go out there and focus on the cone and the different perspective that you can get on defense, because it is such a shock. It's good to get it out there, let people think about it for a while, because a lot of people, I know that a lot of people that were in my chat, their initial reaction was like, oh, I'm going to hate it. And I was like, well, if you go into it with that mindset, of course you're going to hate it, because you're going to find all these reasons as to not see its benefits. But I think it's a really cool thing. It's definitely going to help people that maybe aren't as familiar with the game or aren't as hardcore players as you and I, that are able to make the adjustments, that we know what we're doing on defense, and we know how to control it. If somebody's just picking up the game, having that cone, which, by the way, you can turn off, having that cone is going to help them.
Wait a second, hold on. Can you go back, repeat, rewind? I didn't get that statement. You can do what with the cone, sir?
Yeah, the cone is it's there to help people out, but you don't have to use it. If you don't like the cone, go ahead and toggle it off. Play defense without the cone. It's not a huge deal. It's just there as a tool to help you get used to the new defense, because the defense is going to play different. It's going to take a little bit of getting used to. Even for people that have poured hours and hours and hours and hours and days and months into the game, it's going to require some adjustment. Obviously, they've made a lot of changes, especially on next gen with the way that the players can move and react and stuff like that. Yeah, the cone, I think it's good. I think it's going to help more people be able to pick up the game and maybe lessen the intensity of the learning curve, because that's a problem that Madden has had, and that's a reason that the community is so exclusive, is because the majority of people, if they pick up the game and they hop into a game online and they get matched up against you, then guess what? They're going to get slaughtered, and they're going to think they're terrible at the game. They're going to return it to GameStop. They're going to trade it in for Assassin's Creed. So, make sure that it's I'm going to edit that out. Make sure that you don't be so quick to judge the cone, because it can help out people that aren't as used to the game. And like I said, you don't have to use it. You don't have to.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, there's been all kinds of features. I mean, they've even had the defensive angle where you've been able to click your linebacker, select your linebacker, and get that different angle if you wanted to lock on to your defensive guy. And I mean, yes, now it's not a defensive lock, it's a different camera angle where you can still switch your players. But I never used it before. I won't use this defensive angle probably now either. I might use it like in, team mode or just some other things playing around for like YouTube videos or things like that. And I think that's a really good way to be able to showcase different stuff. But no, in a serious gameplay type mode, I am not going to use the different angles. I probably won't be using the cone. I'll probably use the cone, like you said, for the first week. get the motions down, make sure I have everything, but then take away the cone. And that's going to be something really good for the person that just isn't die hard. That they do just pick up the game every Saturday to play 1 or 2 games, and they're not going to get destroyed. And you can say it's a crutch, you can say whatever it is to help them out, but it's a way to be able to build a community, like you said. And that's the goal, is just to get more people playing the game.
Yeah, the more people that are able to pick up the game and be competitive in it and at least keep the games close, if not win the majority of their games, it's going to raise everybody's level of competition. And I think that they're doing a great job with it. And I'm not even like you. I'm not going to jump to the conclusion and say that I'm not going to use it because I haven't had enough experience with it. I might find that flipping the camera angle gives me the best opportunity to win on defense. And you might see me. In a future podcast, we might be talking about the pros and the cons of using it, and we might have a lot more pros for flipping the camera angle as opposed to keeping it the classic style that we're all used to. It does give you a different angle. Who knows, what sort of reads or tells you're going to be able to see, based on, or like how much of a better jump you're going to be able to get on passes, or you'll be able to see the receivers and the line and just everything in a totally different way. And I fully expect it to be useful in some situations, if not in every situation.
The biggest thing is, I was getting a lot of questions, is we saw people asking us, how is the game improved? What are the other defense? How are your users reacting? And that's the biggest thing. And I think we saw questions like how does people defend the lob fades? How does your linebacker, can he jump 10 feet in the air? Can you use your DBs and make more user plays like you could on 360 and old gen compared to the current gen? Because yes, old gen you could make more user plays than you could on new gen. We also saw when you click Y or triangle, is the guy going to go up and make the animation? And I think it all goes back to the physics of the game, and they have been improved. The way I said it was 360 was the guys were ice skating. Mm-hmm. You could just make cuts. You can go all the way across the field. I could take my strong safety or free safety and come all the way up in the box and then get all the way back 40 yards in the snap of a finger and be able to recover on a deep ball. Then you went to next gen and you were stuck in quicksand. You went from ice skating to quicksand. And I think they found definitely a really good balance. I definitely felt like players were reacting more. I felt like animations were going up really nice, and there was definitely a lot of user controls. No, you couldn't just hold Y and go from the left side of the field to the right side of the field, and when you hit the ball, your guy just jumps up and gets it. That's not what I wanted. I wanted to be able to user my guy over to that area. And yes, you're able to backpedal, make your adjustment, see where the play is to the middle of the field, not take 6 steps and not move anywhere, get to the spot, then hit Y, and see a better related animation, from what I noticed. Not going one-handed catches when 3 people are in the way, and things like that. And I think that is what the physics was getting to. I think that the user, the capability, the AI, everything is definitely smarter. And I think that is going to make a way better gameplay experience and definitely make the game more enjoyable for sure.
Yeah, I like your analogy of when you're on the 360, it's kind of like ice skating around. I mean, even just watching the. It's been a while since I played on the 360, but when I was watching the MUT Invitational, they were I was watching the returns and the people are just weaving in and out of traffic, and I'm like, you can't. I was watching, I was like, you can't turn like that on next gen. If you try to do that, your player takes 10 steps to stop. And on next gen, this year it kind of feels like sometimes your players have those ankle weights, wrapped around their legs, and so when they're trying to stop, they have to take extra steps. So that's something that they've definitely polished up. So you're still going to have the more realistic feel. Momentum's still going to play a factor. But if you take 1 step, it's not going to take 3 steps to stop. You're going to be able to do a pivot, and it's going to help with user ability. on defense, it's going to help you kind of bait the quarterbacks into throwing it your way. Be like, oh, he's going the wrong way. Oh, wait, no, he's not. He's totally faked me out. So I'm really looking forward to that. But then again, that type of adjustment is something that's you'll see more of that along with players that are more I don't know, technically skilled, like people like you and I that can make those fine-tuned adjustments and really have like a full grasp of defense. So I think that they've done a great job of balancing, trying to like bring new players into Madden in order to build the Madden community, but also not doing it at the cost of upper tier players losing their edge or losing that competitive spirit. So with all that being said, do you feel like Madden 15, with all the focus on defense, do you think that defense is going to be easier, or do you think it's going to be harder? Because, and like what I mean by that is like people that have the offensive schemes, like they can come out and they can run 5 plays and pick you apart all day. Do you think that people are still going to be able to come out with that 5-play scheme and just totally destroy your defense? Or is your defense going to be so good, the AI going to be so smart that you don't even have to play defense? If somebody comes out and tries to beat you at the same five plays, your AI is going to pick up like what they're doing and stop it for you. So how's that balance going to work? Because like with all the focus on defense, I could see it going either way. It could be easier to play defense because you don't have to do anything, or it could be harder because of all these different adjustments you have to make. I don't know. What do you think? What do you think?
From what I noticed and from the different things that we tested, and we tested, the first time I was down there, we played 3 days of gaming, and we got a lot of different lab work in. And the AI is definitely more intelligent. I think this year and last year, offense was easier than defense. Even if you did not understand offense, you were able to play offense easier than you would play defense. And I think that is pretty much what they're trying to do, is not make it so much easier, but balance the level of skill needed to be able to succeed on offense and defense. And I think the level of skill needed to succeed on offense and defense are definitely more balanced now. What we noticed, and like what you said, the AI isn't intelligent. It is not a self-based artificial intelligence that's going to be able to learn and adapt and mold off itself. You are still going to tell the computer what to do. No, you will not have to user control every single player. For an example, we were playing a game and we ran an out 3 times in a row because we just know how OP curls and outs were the last few years. And you're like, even if I run, sidelines and put, a zone, short mid zone in there, yellow zone in the area, and you're like, I still got beat. Like, what is going on? Like, how does this guy not know what's going on there? He's ran it 500 times. Literally, we ran the out, first down. Ran the out, first down. I was like, all right, run one more out. I stayed the linebacker. I put the outside guy in the zone and said, play the sideline. He hiked the ball and threw the out, pick 6 all the way back to the house. And I mean, that's what I wanted to see. And like, you saw the tendencies of like all the players. You saw when it was more of a running situation that you're like, that guy did not just get the yardage every time. You saw your defense crashing more in the area where it should be. They were more combined and working as a team is what I noticed, rather than separate AI. And I noticed more team interaction from everybody, which will make it easier.
So you think it's going to be easier to play defense, which is obviously going to make it more difficult on offense to develop a scheme, or maybe not necessarily more difficult, but your scheme is going to have to be more involved. So like what I'm thinking is that this year, more than any other year, you're going to have a run game. And you're going to have to balance that run game with short passes to kind of like warm up the quarterback a little bit, get him so that he can catch the defense off guard over the top, hit him with the play action. It seems like you're going to have more variety in there in order to continually fool the defense, which, while it's not going to make all the adjustments on its own, is going to adjust. So, if you keep getting beat by the same play and you just can't figure out how to stop it, eventually the AI is going to be like, well, obviously these guys run this play, 17 times in a row. I'm gonna intercept it this time, So I think that's I'm looking forward to that on offense. The way that the schemes are going to change, because that's one thing. One of my main gripes is playing against somebody that's just running the hurry up, running the same play. And if you adjust, like you only have time to adjust for a certain amount of the things that they're doing. So like, if he's hitting you on an out and you adjust for the out, suddenly he's hitting you on the other route that's a drag. And you didn't have time to do both things. So I think that it's going to help balance that out. So I'm really, really excited to see the schemes become more advanced, more complicated. And I'm looking forward to developing my own scheme, because I do that too. I mean, I have like a 5-play scheme. If you watch my stream, like you're gonna see play action Bills cross. You're gonna see the trail shake and some play actions, some runs and stuff like that. But it's not like I don't have 15 plays,
I want to see if you're gonna ever call man next year. I want to see if you're gonna rip packs and call man defense.
I call man defense. If somebody goes 5 wide on me, you'll see man defense.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm running a new defensive scheme. I'm not doing the cover 3 thing anymore.
Oh, okay.
It's different. And since I've adjusted to this new scheme, I just want to let you guys know I'm 45-5, so pretty good.
Whoa. You're still what? Are you number 3 or did you move to number 2 now?
No, I'm still number 3. But if you look weekly or monthly, I'm number 1. So.
Okay. Well, just so you know, I am coming after you. I've broke the top 1,000 now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like 864. I'm hoping that somewhere around 400 or 500 of those people maybe just aren't playing anymore. So hopefully a few more games I can start. I'm coming for you though.
Yeah, you'll probably gain like 50 spots a day. So your rate of increase is definitely way faster. You're gonna catch up to me in no time.
What I secretly might do is still play a little bit more after 15 comes out, just so I can catch you when you're done.
Yeah. I'll check it occasionally and be like, whoa, Scum's getting a little close here. Let me throw back Thursday time.
Exactly. But I really do think that the improvements that they've made are definitely going to make defense more enjoyable. I think it's going to make the game more enjoyable. Like you said, it's going to take a lot of frustration out from the people that play a lot, know what to do, and just aren't getting the results on defense they think. I really do feel that you're going to be able to see the results that you want. You're not going to be ice skating around the field, but you're not going to be stuck in the quicksand. You're going to be able to react to the ball. You're going to be able to make the user plays. You're going to be able to attack the line of scrimmage and sack the quarterback. You're going to be able to make the play on the running back, or you're going to be able to realize that the pass and go back and get into coverage. I think there's a really good balance. I think it's the new play calling systems, the new AI. I think everything is going to make it a very, very fair, balanced game on offense and defense, and giving you the same amount of ways to succeed. Because it just seems like there are so many ways to succeed on offense and not that many ways to succeed on defense. And it seems like they did a really good job, once again, of just balancing the way to succeed on offense and defense.
This just raised a point in my mind, is that the defense is going to react more on its own. So do you think that, like, how I was running the cover 3 scheme? I was calling cover 3 100% of the time on defense, and I was having great success with that. If my defense is automatically going to be adjusting to what the offense is doing, a little bit, and helping me make those plays, is the offense going to do the same sort of thing to balance that out, or is running a cover 3 strategy 100% of the time going to be the best defense that you can possibly have? Like that's going to be interesting to see, because it's not like your offense, it's not like your receiver is going to notice that I'm running cover 3 and automatically hot route himself into a streak or something.
But he can change his placement of where he runs his route and where he cuts into the zone necessarily, though.
Yeah, that's true. So he could, if he sees that I'm running cover 3 every time, he knows that a particular spot on the field is going to be open, to make sure he sits down there, runs a little bit slower through the hole in the zone. So it's going to be interesting to see if they focused on that, if it's going to be, or if that's going to be something that we're going to be clamoring for next year. You guys have to realize that the game is under constant improvement. Everything that they do to change the game for the better. They do it in reaction to the things that you guys want and that you guys tell them that you want to see in future iterations of the game. So they do hear you guys. They are doing everything that they can to put out the best football game every single year. And this year's no exception. I'm so excited for Madden 15. I cannot wait for it to come out. I'm really, really looking forward to having the chance to sit down, develop a more in-depth offensive scheme. And you know what? I'm also really looking forward to flipping the play, seeing the whole different camera angle on defense, and trying it out, seeing if it's something that I plan on using, something that's beneficial to me, or something that I could do without. And if it's something that everybody collectively agrees is useless, guess what? It's not going to be in the next game.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Just like, you know, they've tried a lot of features. Some features stick around, some features don't. You know, if the feedback continues that the defensive tackling cone is horrible, I'm sure you won't see that in 16. You know, if they see that, you know, 0.5% of the people use the camera angle, then they won't use that. But if they see that, you know, the majority of the community is using it, they'll use it. They wanted to focus on defense. They try to give a different eye. It's a really good thought, and like you said, we'll see how it all plays out.
Yeah, and be careful not to don't tell us that you're going to hate it before you have like 3 minutes of experience of watching a video during a presentation on E3. You haven't had a chance to try it out for yourself, so don't shoot it down before you have a chance to experience it, because it might turn out that it's the best thing that you've ever seen happen to Madden. But if you go into it with the attitude that you're going to hate it, chances are you're going to find all different types of reasons as to why it doesn't work. Or, you know what, you might not even give it the chance that it deserves. You might try it once, flip it, have somebody throw a Hail Mary on you and get a touchdown, be like, nope, never using it again. And then you could be missing out on a totally spectacular feature in the game. So don't shoot it down before you try it. Give it a shot, you guys, because you never know. Just keep an open mind about it. That's what I'm trying to say. Keep an open mind about it, because you never know if it's going to be something that turns out to be your favorite feature of Madden 15.
Absolutely, absolutely. So I think we pretty much covered everything. We still should have some really good stuff to talk about next week. I'm excited about more news that we do know about that we still can't drop yet. I was really hoping that we were going to be able to drop the news today, but it doesn't look like the corporate gods above have gotten all their ducks in a row. So we're still having to wait to drop a little bit more news. So stay tuned next week. We'll hopefully be able to have a lot of information about that. We should have a really good another weekend. And as always, we do appreciate you guys watching.
Yeah, leave us your comments. Definitely let us know. What are your thoughts on the E3 presentation, on the focus on defense? And tell us about your feelings about the new camera angle. Have you already dismissed it, or are you willing to give it a chance? Make sure that you let us know in the comments section below. And I guess we'll leave you with our favorite stock comment. You're going to be excited. Next week we're going to tell you guys some great news. And I promise you guys, you're going to be excited about it. I'm already excited about it. I'm with Scom. I was hoping we could tell you today, but don't worry, soon enough. And you're going to be excited, I promise.
Everyone can be involved. Okay.
All right, everybody. That is it for episode 6 of In the Huddle with Scom and Slump. Thank you guys for watching. We'll catch you next Wednesday. Bye.